Okay, I have to apologize for some of the noise you might hear in the background. Hopefully you can hear me. I'll figure it out once I look at it. But you know, on this side of my gym, there's a car guy who repairs cars. On the other side is a carpentry guy who does cabinets and stuff. Anyway, so last night on the Super Duper Power X Tmr group or whatever, somebody had mentioned stenosis. And coincidentally, I was going to be making this tape about somebody that has stenosis. And of course, I've seen a whole lot of people that have it, and I've seen even more that have the diagnosis. And there's a separation there. Stenosis, historically, stenosis, the way the doctors picked it up wasn't from a CT or an MRI. The way they picked it up was just talking to the patient. Classic case for stenosis of what we would consider, or at least me and the mentors I've had, classic stenosis is pain in the back, down the legs. As soon as you stand or walk for a period of time, usually it's not that long, and it goes away as soon as you sit down or as soon as you squat down like this if the person's knees are able to. So that's classic. So if you just get somebody that has back pain, no leg symptoms, but a positive MRI for stenosis, to me and the mentors I've had, that doesn't mean that that stenotic problem on the scan is the problem. That means that person's got that going on, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's causing the back pain. So, and I'm sure this is going to be probably a review for some people, but I know a lot of people, because I've run into some younger therapists, they see stenosis, and then all they think about is flexion stuff. Or if I see somebody that has spondylolisthesis. Well, that's completely different than an anterolisthesis or spondylosis, but that doesn't have to be the pain generator either. Anyway, that's another video. So the person that I wanted to talk about, though, was somebody I honestly did not think was going to have a decent outcome. So here I am creating a bias in my head already, and that's the worst thing you could do. And I'm supposed to have experience, not only with this, but PT. So the thing about it is, just to tell you about her, is she's 65, which to some people it's old. Well, crap, for me it's only 2 years from where I'm at. She's overweight, has been diagnosed with degenerative disc disease like everybody else. Well, at that age, she's had bilateral toe knee replacements, but both of them still bother her. She's had a right rotator cuff repair that did okay, but still stiff, not bad, but still stiff. Neck feels fine. Now, primary thing that she wants to be able to do is to stand up for more than 10 minutes, because that's all she can do. The only reason she knows that is because she times herself. So she knows she can stand or walk for 10 minutes. Right around 9 or 10, she starts getting low back pain, leg pain all the way down to the calves, and her thighs start tingling. So classic case. Now, she also has pain when she sits. So that's not completely the same with a classic case of stenosis. So that tells me, for what I'm looking for, is that maybe we can help her. Only because sitting is uncomfortable too, which I know sounds weird, but anyway, so standing increases pain, walking, sit to stand, going up and down stairs, getting dressed. She's worse in the afternoons, and she doesn't sleep well. So, first visit. She could, I do my body scan, and the thing about it is, she can dorsiflex, but one side was easier than the other. They both felt stiff. She could extend her right knee, but her left knee was lagging about 10 degrees. Hip flexion on the left was about 95, right was about 100. I'm talking about seated hip flexion. When she bent forward, she could bend to her knees. The thing is, she had like a minus 10 degrees in extension. She could not stand straight. She walked in the clinic like this. So we got to see if we can make a dent. So anyway, we did rotations, because I always start with that, just because it's easy, but for her it created cramps along the intercostal area on both sides. So first thing I do is not do that. So well, let's do something that's hopefully easier. So we just do shoulder extension, elbow bent. And the reason why I did that, because if you do it with it straight, sometimes it creates more torque on the shoulder because you're adding weight from here to here. At least that's my thought process. Anyway, obviously I didn't do Fab 5, 6, 4 or anything, because that's going to light her up even more, at least the way she looked anyway. So we get done, and the only exercise I showed her was this, and I had her dorsiflex on the easiest side, just to see if we can get more dorsiflex on the other. So here I am, I'm scraping. And so she did 1 set of 10 on the better side. She got tired. Now, she's not frail by any stretch of the imagination, so we just did another set of 5. The other one got a little better. So I created a positive result with her work. And so, you know, we let her come back. And so, interestingly, the next week she shows up. She now tells me she can tell the exercises get her looser, but she still has the same symptoms, which I kind of figured that. And that's my bias again. I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know what we're going to do with this lady. So anyway, that day we started with this, and then I had her test the rotation like this. She's still cramped up, but she could rotate like this. So we just took her arms out of there. And then we did these things that I call seated bendovers, not because I think she needed flexion. And of course that movement sometimes gets you more extension for some reason. But anyway, the only reason I picked that is because I'm still looking for something simple, easy, and hopefully effective. The interesting thing, she gets done, again, second day, she touches her toes. Sorry. She was able to bend down, a little bit farther down here. Okay, so send her home again. She does some exercises. And then, she came in, she saw Beth, I think, for 3 visits, and then I see her for follow-up progress note. And so the interesting thing, so here she is, she's seen us for 6 visits. This is the 6th visit, right? And so we're talking, she's got a big smile on her face, which I had not noticed before. She can get out of her bed easier. I mean, these are small things, but if you can't do it, you can't do it, and you feel bad about it. She can stand straight now. So she's not tipped. She's actually straight. And she says she can stand or walk for 25 to 30 minutes before the symptoms kick in. So, do I think she still has stenosis? Well, I know she does. Is she better? Well, I know she is, because she tells me she is, and it's objective to her. And I have no idea if she can get well. All I know is she's gotten better. And while she was with me that day, she got even better as far as motion is concerned. Because when we got done that day, and we did the same exercises, but when we got done, when we got done, that's the day she could touch her toes, and she could actually lean back and had about 10 degrees of extension. So this is somebody who 6 weeks prior to that had no extension. All she had was, flexion forward. And so, to have that much mobility and to do the things as simple as what we're doing, to me is, pretty much mind-blowing as far as that goes. And of course, she's doing the same exercises, shoulder back, elbow bent. She's doing rotations with the arms down. She's doing this. I didn't even have her do the dorsiflexion anymore because she cannot, her feet feel perfectly fine. And actually her knee extension and her hip flexion felt fine too. But it's only been 6 weeks. But here's the other thing. So she tells me, well, I have to ask you a question. I said, okay, what? She goes, well, I've had this, she called it nerve pain, completely different from her back stuff or her leg symptoms from her back. But on her right leg, she goes, I've always had this nerve pain that bothered me every single day, constantly. And I said, well, you never mentioned that. She goes, well, it's been there since I was a teenager. I didn't think it was going to make any difference anyway. She says, besides, I can live with that. I couldn't live with not being able to stand. So she says the interesting thing for her is this nerve pain that she calls it is just coming on sporadically now. It's not constant. And she says, how come that went away or that's going away? And so I tell her, like I tell a lot of the answers that I start with, I said, the number one answer is, I don't know. I said, and that's true for a lot of things. And your medical practitioners, the first thing they should say is, I don't know. But I said, it could be this, could be this, could be this. So I gave her some things that it could be. But do I really know? I don't. Do I really care? Well, I don't want to say I don't care, but in reality, I didn't even know it was there to begin with. I mean, this is something new to me, but now it's another thing for me to try. And again, this is, like I said, she's an overweight person. She's been, her symptoms have been going on since the 70s. And it's just been worse the last 3 years that she's only been able to stand for 10 minutes. So she's seen this much progress in, about 5 or 6 weeks. So it's just one of those things where, and it reminds me when I'm in the clinic, I have to leave my biases alone and away from, anything that's going to come back and haunt me during the treatment or anything like that. But again, the only reason I picked these exercises is only because they were easy and they were effective. They were non-threatening. They were empowering because it gave her something she could do that she saw a difference with, that she's never, number one, she's never done this kind of stuff before. But number two, she's never had any exercise that ever made her feel any better. So anyway, that's my little bit on stenosis. So now I just got to edit this, which I probably won't, and then put it up. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.